How would you guys describe the relationship between Victor and Igor in the film?
Abusive.
Slightly abusive, slightly imbalanced in that he sort of has all of the power because I'm just so indebted to him because he rescued me at the beginning that I'll sort of suffer through anything and anything he does or says to me. Really, I'm just like, yes, Master, absolutely. You know, it's but then I think as the film goes on, you know, Igor, my character's journey is one of like somebody trying to like work his way up to being a person. And so that's that at some point it sort of involves standing up for yourself and having your own sort of thoughts and feelings, which is a very long journey for Igor.
And Victor would just kind of hear all that and just go like, yeah, but I'm right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But he's kind to him. I mean,
he does
consider him
as
his partner eventually.
Yeah, he's using him as well as he's using him for his own gain. Doesn't really care. But then, of course, a horse is a horse. Of course, throughout the course of the film, he can't help but let Igor in. You know, I mean, you can't rely on somebody so much and then not actually need them. You know.
Dan, there's a lot of interesting physicality to your performance, especially at the beginning. I mean, was that difficult to pull off or prepare for?
Not so much. I mean, I've always sort of enjoyed doing those kind of slightly, you know, rougher physical things, and finding a position that looks painful and is painful is good. Especially when you're doing something that's only going to be for like the first 20 pages. You know, you can really go for it, and you're not going to be doing it for months. So yeah, it was great, and you know, it should be slightly painful. You know, it's got to look really painful, so it should be at least a bit painful.
Yeah, you're selling the pain in their face.
Yeah, good. So yeah, it was. I find apart from really moving around a little bit, is anytime we had to. I recall there was a couple of bits like the chase out of the circus was rough because that's when I had to like run in that position. I remember that being like, oh, this is a bit painful, but that was good.
And James, I mean, did you look to the original Frankenstein? I mean, I see a little Colin Clive in your performance a little bit. I mean, did you look towards those old movies at all?
I've never seen a Frankenstein film.
Wow.
I've read the book twice.
Okay.
Twice, guys. Once just when I think it was 19 or something, and then I read it again when I got the film. Yeah, I've never actually, but yeah, I've got all these images particularly of Kenneth Branagh and of young Frankenstein in my head, and I've never watched those films. Maybe I've caught bits of them on TV or something like that, but then that's, I think, quite a lot of people's relationship with Frankenstein is that they have this massive wealth of imagery and sort of things that they relate to the word Frankenstein, and yet they've not seen everything that's ever been done. And I think Max was really riffing off that by saying, this is a film that takes in all the things that have happened with Frankenstein since Mary Shelley wrote the book. It takes in Mel Brooks, it's got comedy in it. It takes in the seriousness and the drama of like Kenneth Branagh and Robert De Niro's one 21 years ago, we figured out it was. It doesn't take in any of I, Frankenstein. You'll be glad to know.
Like that was a wise choice.
I'm so horrible. I shouldn't be slagging off anybody else's film.
They know.
Somebody would,
know.
do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
It's like, because I've never made a bad film. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Obviously, none of my films are bad.
No.
Which is not true. So, you know, yeah, as long as we didn't do I, Frankenstein, we were fine.
That's a good life lesson, I think.
Hi.
Frankenstein.
I've just been really nasty.
It's okay, guys.
Man.
I'll never say it.
Guys, it's cool. I'm sorry.
You know, we can't spoil the ending, but if, there's certainly a door left open for another one, maybe. What would you guys like to see these two get into in the future?
I don't know. I mean, I was always very like, because originally the ending it was in the script was like very, very much prelude to another film, and I think James and I both looked at that and we were like, let's just concentrate on this one, shall we, before we get ahead of ourselves and try and, you know, tee up the next one. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, there is room for it to be open, but I'm very happy with this being a contained single film.
Same with you, James. Would you like to see more Frankenstein?
Yeah, but I think you make one filmed well, and then just wait and see. If people want more, then you can try and figure out if it's possible. But the other thing about Frankenstein is like, where would it go? You're kind of like, you've learned that lesson, and let's say you make another film, either he hasn't learned that lesson and you're just doing the same stuff again, maybe in a different country, or Igor comes by and he's like, hey, what you been up to? You're like, oh, nothing much, I've become a general practitioner and I'm a family doctor, and you're like, oh, great. For 90 minutes, really? And so it's like, I don't know where it would go, but it might go somewhere interesting, you never know.
Be cool.